Hey guys, Kyle the Death Knight of Anime here, bringing my review for One Piece episode 800. And I know there's been a lot of back and forth about how 800 episodes in, and it probably wasn't the best episode or anything, but I still enjoyed it for what it was, to be honest with you. Um, but aside from that, I think I think we need to go ahead and start off by addressing the elephant in the room, the biggest elephant in the room here. Like as we see in this episode, we see that Niji and Sanji have a bit of a confrontation more than once with each other, including like I'm sorry, Niji, you are such a fucking douchebag for disrespecting the two things that Sanji loves most in this world: women and women and freaking women and freaking women and food. Like he respects those two things most of all, and you're disrespecting both of those in front of him. Like when Nietzsche was disrespecting food, saying it tasted like shit, and then attacking the chef. It was head chef who was a woman. It was like, yeah, Nietzsche, you are a douchebag. But like I said, I'm here to address the elephant in the room about it, which is that based on the last moments of this episode, it's clear that Sanji and Niji are gonna have a bit of a tussle probably in the beginning of the next episode. And realistically, considering the situation, I can see I can see Sanji not winning this fight. Like I think Niji is gonna pull some extremely dirty shit in order to just kind of in order to win the in order to win what I assume is going to be a brief little tussle, like yeah, like with Zeph his crew, with Zeph the Straw Hats, and with Zeph and the Straw Hats on the chopping block. Yeah, I think they are gonna. I think Niji is gonna probably pull some blackmail type shit or something like that. But aside from that, I don't think the fact that I mean it is a factor. Don't get me wrong, but I think there is one other factor here that is going to play a part in Sanji's downfall, which is his mindset. Now, what I mean by that is with the way that earlier in this episode, we see Sanji just kind of holding himself and shaking, and he's like literally shaking and sweating. And it's something that might fly by a lot of people, but it didn't me, because honestly, that just tells me right there Sanji has a serious case of PTSD from his childhood. Like, I think he was just so physically abused constantly by both his brothers and his father so much that it just literally affected him to the point where every time he sees them, he's literally shaking, which actually looking back, it completely explains it actually completely explains it completely, if that is the case, it completely explains his reaction in the previous arc of Zoe, where he suddenly had an extreme shock face on him to finding out that his family was involved with Big Mom. So yeah, I think yeah, or just hearing his family's name in general again, I think just kind of like it definitely set I think a certain switch off in his brain that re-triggered all those terrible memories. I think so. Yeah, our boy Sanji, he definitely has a lot of fucking baggage, and but yeah, on top of that, we also get a good chunk of the continued fight between Cracker and Luffy. And like honestly, like at this point, Luffy, he really needs to pull he I'm sure, like honestly, I think Luffy, if Luffy even gets out of this, like I I think this just proves that Luffy is not like not only is I know we've already established that Luffy's not ready for Big Mom or the Yonko in general, But honestly, if Luffy, what's interesting about this is that if Luffy is still having trouble with Cracker in Gear Fourth, and we can actually see that the fight is affecting Luffy. Like you can see him panting, he's wheezing, he's just breathing heavily from this long drawn out fight with Cracker, who keeps using his Cracker soldiers in order to as punching bags for Luffy. Like Luffy, I think Luffy realizes that honestly, like if he could just find an opening, honestly, if Luffy could just find an opening, then it is probably going to be a pretty easy win. But yeah, it seems like Cracker isn't making it easy for him. That's for sure. But and the thing about it is, like, if Luffy is having trouble with Cracker, but I mean, Cracker is one of the sweet commanders. Don't get me wrong. So his basically his whole power is warranted. Like it is good to see that Luffy is having trouble, but if Luffy is having this much trouble with just one of Big Mom's subordinates, one of the top tier ones, I don't think he even stands a chance against the lower tier ones. Like if Luffy is having this much trouble with Cracker, then I don't think he would have a single prayer against any of the other members of Big Mom's crew, or even her family, like any of her sons, any of her daughters. Like I don't think Luffy stands a chance against any of them, to be honest with you. Or maybe he might be able to take out some, but it wouldn't be without trying. It wouldn't be without trying. I can say that much for sure. But yeah, the entirety of this battle, it is definitely taking the entirety of this battle contained within the Luffy and Cracker stuff. Yeah, it is definitely taking its toll on Luffy, and I can see it definitely being sort of a future thing where if Luffy does manage to go up against Big Mom, I think he's gonna be too tired from. I think he's gonna be too tired and exhausted from right now from the single battle with Cracker that I don't think he's gonna be able to. I think there's going to be backlash for Luffy in terms of when he does finally face Big Mom. I don't think he's going to have the strength or stamina in order to really do a whole bunch of do very little damage to her. Honestly, if even that, to be honest with you. And and actually, one thing I want to bring up with one of the smokes, I want to bring up with Niji actually. Niji for sure. I want to bring this up. Um, as far as Niji's voice actor is concerned, I'm kind of on the fence with him because it's not that it's not a good performance. It is a decent one for sure, but for some reason I expected him to sound different. Um, what's the best way I can say this? Uh, I thought he would have a bit more of a young arrogance to his voice, where I thought he would have a lot more of a young sort of arrogance to his voice. Like he would have, like, I guess what's the best way to describe how I thought his voice would sound? I thought his voice would sound a little like looch cheese. Like I thought he would sound a little like Lucci, to be honest with you, like a little like Rob Lucci. I thought he would sound a little like Rob Lucci, to be honest with you, but yeah, that's kind of the nearest way I can ever really describe how I thought Niji would sound, but no, it isn't like that at all. It's honestly a very standard, and I'd even argue maybe a little downplayed, to be honest with you. But it is what it is. I'm sure that maybe down the line when you finally do get to his more cockier moments, I'm sure we are. I'm sure the voice actor is definitely going to shine. Is definitely going to end up shining there. But yeah, as of right now, it is a very underwhelming performance. Underwhelming performance to me right now. Like I think a good chunk of that is because I was from what we saw of Niji when he was younger. He definitely did have a lot more of a cockier tone. So maybe I kind of expected a lot more of that to shine through. But whatever, it is what it is. Um, and one last, like, what it isn't necessarily a good or bad thing, but one funny moment I did like in this episode is when Pedro and Book snuck inside the body of a biscuit soldier in order to infiltrate the I think it was the Big Mom's Fortress, or the Whole Cake or the Whole Cake Island, or whatever. Um, I've got some very distinct thriller bark vibes from that when Nami, Usopp, and Chopper hid inside inside. I think it was Kumasi. Yeah, whoever was bear. I think pet bit. I think it was her bear zombie pet or whatever it was. But yeah, I got some thriller bark vibes from that for sure. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much my review. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe, or follow me on Twitter and Facebook. Death Knight of Anime, signing off. Later, guys.